Hello boys, welcome back to another interesting session of video tutorials, and this session is meant for class 12th biology students, and this is for 25th September 2020, and we are into the revision, and we are having the revision of chapter number 3, human reproduction. And in that, yesterday we talked about the male reproductive system, structure of male reproductive system, various parts involved in that, and then we also talked about the female reproductive system. So in this session we are going to talk about the female external genitalia. That is, this includes mons pubis, a cushion of fatty tissues covered by skin and pubic hair, and then labia majora, fleshy fold that surround the vaginal opening, labia minora, paired fold of tissue under labia majora. The opening of vagina is often partially covered by a membrane called hymen. The tiny finger-like projection present in the upper junction of two labia minora above the urethral opening is called clitoris. So mammary glands are paired structures that contain glandular tissues and variable fats. Each glandular tissue contains 15 to 20 mammary lobes containing alveoli that secrete milk. So mammary ducts join to form mammary ampulla. And we talk of the gametogenesis, that is the process of formation of male and female gametes in testis and ovary respectively is called gametogenesis. Genesis means giving birth. Gameto, what is being given birth? Gametes. What are gametes? As we said yesterday, reproductive cells or sex cells. Like in the case of male, it is the sperm, and in the case of female, we said ovum. So the formation of sperm and ovum is gametogenesis. So first we talk of the formation of sperm, spermatogenesis in males, and then oogenesis in females. So spermatogenesis, once the testes become mature, the spermatogonia produce sperm by spermatogenesis, and it begins at puberty. Puberty, the age at which the sperm start forming. The spermatogonia present in the inner side of the seminiferous tubules multiply by mitotic division and increase in number. Each spermatogonium contains, of course, 46 chromosomes, because we are talking of human beings. And the spermatogonia forms spermatocytes that undergo meiotic division, remember, meiosis, to reproduce the secondary spermatocytes having 23 chromosomes. So from 46 it has come to 23. That's why we say RD, reduction division. So first reduction division takes place. The spermatids are transformed into spermatozoa by the process called spermiogenesis. Don't get confused between spermatogenesis and spermiogenesis. Spermatogenesis is the process of formation of sperms from testes, testicular cells. Spermiogenesis is transformation of spermatids into spermatozoa. Means round structures, spherical structures will get into the designed sperm shape. That is spermiogenesis. The sperm heads remain embedded in serotoli cells and are released from seminiferous tubules by the process spermiation. So there are three: spermatogenesis, spermiogenesis, and spermiation. So remember that. And then this is how the spermatogenesis take place with the influence of the hormones. So you got first, at puberty is the time at which the testes become matured and start producing sperms. So spermatogonia, they undergo mitosis to start with and form many primary spermatocytes, but the chromosome number is maintained, 46 only. And the primary spermatocytes becomes secondary spermatocytes undergoing first meiotic division. And the first meiotic division is always reduction division, RD. So 46 has become 50% reduction, 23. And the secondary spermatocytes become spermatids. Here the chromosome number is maintained 23 only. But what happens is, after these spermatids are formed, they undergo, see, as I said, circular structures are becoming designed sperm, designated sperm shape. And this is what we said, spermiation. And the spermatids have undergone a process called differentiation and attained this shape. That's how the spermatozoa or the sperms are formed. So for all this have to happen, there has to be the influence of different hormones. Hormones play a crucial role. So spermatogenesis initiated due to increase in secretion of gonadotropin releasing hormone by hypothalamus. Where is hypothalamus? In the brain. Okay, so gonadotropin releasing hormone, we say GnRH. So that is the first one. And increase in GnRH act on anterior pituitary, again this is also in the brain, and stimulates secretion of two gonadotropins, LH and FSH. LH is luteinizing hormone, FSH is follicular stimulating hormone. And LH acts on Leydig cells and stimulates them to secrete androgens, sex hormones. And FSH acts on Sertoli cells, stimulates the secretion of some factors which help in spermiogenesis. So both are, FSH and LH, both are required. And once the sperm is formed, what is the structure of it? So structure of sperm, it's a microscopic structure composed of one head and a neck and a middle piece. So you got a middle piece here, and of course a tail. So a sperm has got four parts: head, neck, middle piece and tail. The sperm head contains elongated haploid nucleus. So nucleus is there, anterior portion of which is covered by a cap-like structure called acrosome. So this is how the structure, and the middle piece is very important because it contains lot of mitochondria. So human male ejaculates about 200 to 300 million sperms during the coitus, during the intercourse. The seminal plasma along with the sperm constitute semen. The function of male sex secondary ducts and the glands are maintained by androgen hormones. And what about oogenesis? The process of formation of mature female gamete is called oogenesis, means formation of ovum. It started during embryonic development stage when millions of oogonia, see millions, we call it as gamete mother cells or ovarian mother cells, OMCs, that are formed at the fetal ovary. So the gametes mother cells start division, or ovarian mother cells start division and enter into phase 1 of meiotic division and get temporarily arrested at that stage, and they are called primary oocytes. So you can see the primary oocytes being formed, and each primary oocyte is surrounded by a layer of granulosa cell, and then it is called primary follicle. You can see the primary oocytes and they are covered with granulosa, becomes primary follicle. So at puberty, means puberty is age at which the girl becomes biologically matured, somewhere say, as I said, 10 to 11 years. So she will be having 60,000 to 80,000 primary follicles in each ovary, and the primary follicle gets surrounded by more layers of granulosa and they are called secondary follicles. So you can see the formation of secondary follicles and then tertiary follicle also, and it get transformed, and the tertiary follicle will have a cavity, and that cavity will be filled with a fluid filled cavity, that's called antrum. So there will be an antrum, and finally more of Graafian follicles and rupture of Graafian follicles will take place because of the hormonal influence, and finally functional ovum is released. So release of functional ovum is taking place after the Graafian follicles are there, and whatever that layers are left out, that's called corpus luteum. So corpus luteum will be formed and finally corpus luteum gets degenerated. So primary follicle gets surrounded by more layers of granulosa, and they are called secondary, that transform into tertiary, that contain called antrum. Now how exactly this oogenesis will take place? So here you have to maintain the chromosomal number. So it's a fetal life, as we said, oogonia, mitosis, differentiation will take place. Primary oocyte will undergo the first meiotic division, and the first meiotic division will make from 46, the number will be reduced, so only we are calling it as reduction division. And once the secondary oocyte, two will be formed, a first polar body and a secondary oocyte, and this will have 23 chromosomes, and secondary oocyte will undergo meiotic 2, and out of that secondary polar body and ovum. So this first polar body, second polar body will degenerate and become food for the functional ovum. So the functional ovum will have 50% of the chromosomes, that is 23. That's why meiosis is always called as reduction division. So you got through spermatogenesis, you got a sperm that is formed with 23 chromosomes, and through oogenesis, a ovum will be formed with 23 chromosomes. So when these two 23 chromosomed sperm, 23 chromosomed ovum from the mother fuse together, zygote will be formed. 23 plus 23, 46, chromosome number is maintained, so identity of the species will be maintained. If there is any disturbance in this chromosomal number, then chromosomal aberrations will take place, then normal human beings will not take birth. There will be some deformities that will take place. Hence, the chromosomal number is very, very important. In our next session, we will talk about menstrual cycle. Until then, draw the diagrams of all the four, that is spermatogenesis, oogenesis, structure of sperm, and structure of ovary. All these four, post it in our group. Take care.